Yes, last year we watched a prince rise from the dark ashes and come to the top, shining with his armor.
I just did all those.
Yes, I know, but I was a fan.
Get to the meat,
Greg. I wanted to acknowledge that. Now, when we talk about this list, there's 4 teams that I think have the opportunity to do something similar. At number 4, the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson. Look, I like the Cleveland Browns. I like the situation that they're in because of the division that they're in. This division, they kind of beat up on one another. When you look at the Cleveland Browns, we break the season down into 6 games, and those are the 6 games that Deshaun Watson played. If you look at these numbers, the first 4 games that Deshaun Watson came out with the Cleveland Browns, we got to give him a pass. He was clearly rusty. When you look at the numbers right there, total yards per game, 200. He couldn't throw a touchdown to save his life, was turning the ball over, 69.3% passer rating. But those last 2 games, it started to give me a little glimpse of what may be to come. And in a division where there was one clear outright team that was just better than everybody else, and that was the Cincinnati Bengals. You obviously improved with the Ravens, but the Cleveland Browns, you got to believe if Deshaun Watson is able to get anywhere close to what he was in Houston with the talent that they're bringing in, Elijah Moore, obviously Amari Cooper, I believe he's the number 1 guy. I know he is. The defense that they have, they run the ball very well. They got a chance to go from worse to first.
So again, to be fair here, they're number 4.
They're number 4.
There's only 8 available options. So it's not like Greg is outright picking this, but he's saying that they're on the board. My concern for the Browns, in addition to the fact I'm not sure how great of a coach Stefanski is very simple on, I don't know how much the essentially 2 years out of football plus the awful off-field stuff that follows Deshaun and that he carries with him, take any of the other facets of it aside, all of that, it wouldn't be outrageous to say he's not going to be the same guy. That the guy he was 3 years ago in Houston, that player's gone. And they have no path forward other than him being awesome. And I know he was better in those last 2 games. I just don't know if Deshaun Watson's ever going to be awesome again. And if he's not, I don't know in that division what real chance they have.
If he's not awesome, then they won't.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be awesome. He's got to be awesome.
At number 4, I'm going to take you down to the Dirty South.
Oh, good.
In the NFC Dirty South, and that's the Atlanta Falcons. And this one is pretty straightforward. I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of statistics. Look, they were 7-10. The team that won the division played with a 45-year-old quarterback named Tom Brady, and they were 8-9. This division is up for grabs. There's a lot of exciting young players in Atlanta. Hey, Desmond Ridder, go get you a division title. That's all I got for the Falcons. But I do like this young team.
Do you think Bijan Robinson could be the best running back in the league?
Absolutely. Without doubt. Immediately. With the usage rate, with how we saw Saquon being used with the Giants, it's going to be that on steroids, literally. Bijan Robinson, he's a better catcher out of the backfield. I believe he's an even better runner. He's a more physical runner. I love this kid. There's nothing he can't do. And you add him with Kyle Pitts and young receiving core.
Why do you think they haven't unlocked Pitts? Pitts was a top 10 pick as a tight end. He's unbelievable in college. And it feels like the fantasy football players I know can empathize with this. I'm a big fantasy guy. But there would be weeks where it looked like he wasn't even part of the game plan. Like, that part I don't understand.
Well, you look at who was quarterbacking last year with Marcus Mariota. Like, he just didn't seem like he was making him a part of what they were doing offensively. I'm not putting that all on Marcus Mariota. Obviously, you got to scheme a guy who's that athletic and who gives you that many matchup situations in your favor. You got to put him in position to be successful. They'll do that this year.
All right, I'm curious. I think we're going to have the same number 1. So I'm curious who you got. So go ahead.
You think we're going to have the same number 1?
Let's see you have number 2. I don't know who you have. There's only 6 possibilities.
Well, number 2, I got the Jets.
Oh, then we might. Okay, go ahead.
I got the Jets at number 2. And again, you know how I feel about this division. The Buffalo Bills and the Dolphins are still the better teams. But if there is a team that can jump from worst to first, Well, you know they're going to jump over the Patriots. That's an easy no-brainer.
Why do we know that?
But can you jump over the other two teams? Well, if I want a chance to do that, what do I go do? I go get one of the best quarterbacks arguably to ever play this game and pair him with a lot of what came over from Green Bay, which he had success with, and insert it into a Jets culture that is not accustomed to winning.
Culture.
They got a chance.
So hold on. So now, because the Jets have been so bad, that's a plus for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets?
Well, we're talking worst to first. Like, they can go from worst to first.
Greg, you know that he hasn't thrown for 300 yards in over 23 games?
What was that stat?
You know, Aaron Rodgers has not thrown for over 300 yards in 23 games. Do you feel like that's just a coincidence, or do you think that's...
I guarantee he throws for over 300 yards
in week one?
Season.
Because it'll be
week
24,
one, you're going against the
it'll
Bills.
be 24 games.
Now you know how I feel about the first 6 games.
Then you got Dallas. I think you got Dallas. You got the Patriots. You got Kansas City.
I got them going 1-5 in the first 6 games. So
they're going to go 1-5.
He's giving the teams that could go worst to first. Do you want to know the 5 teams that are left?
On banging on the Patriots unnecessarily.
You have one pick left. I just want the audience to know who the possibilities are. The possibilities are the Texans in the AFC South, the Bears in the NFC North, the Cards in the NFC West, Washington in the NFC East, and the Broncos in the NFC West. I think we're going to have the same number 1, Greg. I've circled mine.
I saw who you circled.
Who's yours? Oh,
here we go.
Blackout, New York City. Go ahead, Greg. Who's number 1?
Can I peek and see if you circled the Broncos?
Oh, this is such a bad pick.
Love it.
The Broncos.
This is such a bad pick.
Look. Let me break this down for you really quick.
Okay, break it down.
Like the Broncos, albeit they were the worst team in the division.
Yeah.
But the expectations going into last season was that they could potentially contend for a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett head coach. That didn't work out. No. Scrap it, throw it away, bring in Sean Payton. Okay. What happens automatically, you start changing some things. You understand that Russell Wilson's going to be better. He's not going to be as bad or worse as he was last season. You got to believe he's going to improve. And this team, towards the end of the season, after the firing of Nathaniel Hackett, started getting together. One of the things that's been a constant when we look at this Broncos team is their defense. Their defense is really good, Nick. And I know you know that their defense is really good because stats don't lie. Okay. Third down percentage, this defense is they improved by some of the people that they even added to the roster. Offensively, all you need to know if you are a Bronco fan is that you got Sean Payton and all will be well. Broncos country. Let's ride.
Okay, that's a lot.
Here's the problem.
Probably too much.
All right, here's the problem. Now granted, I've been very locked in to the NBA playoffs and free agency, now watching Wimbledon, so maybe some NFL news missed my desk. But if they did some new thing where, do teams, the Premier League, you have relegation and promotion, did the Chiefs get promoted out of the AFC West to some higher level?
They did not.
Oh, so they're still in it? Okay. So here's some quick numbers on why no one can win the AFC West but the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes has played 30 career games against the AFC West. He is 27-3. He has played, let me check, 11 games against the Broncos. He's 11-0.
This is going to change.
Okay, well, do you know how many times the Broncos, Raiders, or Chargers have beaten Patrick Mahomes in their stadium? How many times the division AFC West team has been like, come down, you're going to get to see us beat Patrick? The answer is 0. He's 16-0 on the road in the division.
16-0?
He's 16-0 in road divisional games. Dating back to his first start of his career, his rookie year against Denver.
Almost as good as the Patriots against the Jets.
No, it is as good. Because they won. They beat the last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs was September of 2015. Okay? September, it was the Obama presidency.
Nick.
Yeah.
Nick, I understand that I struck a chord.
Well, because it was just a bad take.
I'm not at all. I'm not at all saying that the Kansas City Chiefs' chance to go to the Super Bowl is over.
No, but you said the Broncos have the best chance.
But just because the Broncos can win the division doesn't mean that the Kansas City Chiefs doesn't have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl.
No, but it would mean the Arrowhead Invitational's canceled, and we know that can't happen.
That's over.
Can I make the case first that the Broncos were actually worse than people think last year?
All right, sure.
They had 5 wins. The first one was against Houston. The second one was a 1-point victory when Jimmy G safetied himself. Remember that one?
Well, he was pressured into a safety.
The fourth one was against Arizona. And the last one was the Chargers' final week of the year when the Chargers didn't have to play, but they were playing. And then they did beat the Prince, but remember that was overseas. He had a lot of pressure. Royal family in town. It's very awkward playing in England for him, so it was tough. They had no good wins. Why do the Bears not make your list? If Justin Fields is a monster, that's it. The NFC North has no established great team.
I'm excited about the Bears, but after watching the Lions, I know what it takes. You have a team that, just like the Lions, I believe that they'll be that team that the Lions was last year. Mm-hmm. They have a year before they really find out how to win games. They're going to be in a lot of close games. They're not going to win more of those games, and they'll lose those games. That's why I didn't pick the Bears.
So I thought the reason I was saying I thought we were going to have the same one is my top pick of those would probably be the Bears, just because the division's soft, and the Bears could be terrible, but if Fields leaps, and they've now finally gotten some offensive linemen, gotten him some weapons. You saw flashes from him last year. The Bears in that division, I think, have a real shot.
Okay. Coming up next, we're talking about the Ravens.
Broncos country.
What's up with that chair?
I don't know. It's
What's up with that chair and just
Russell Wilson
Broncos stuff? Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.